Hey, this is Adam Green, the director of Hatchet, and you're listening to WithoutYourHead.com.
All right, we are back. We're joined by Joe Lynch. Welcome to Without Your Head.
Hey, guys.
How you doing?
Sorry, that should have been more auspicious. Hey, fellas, how you doing? This is Joe Lynch. What would it be? You know?
Right.
Hi, guys.
That's normally how I start the show.
Was it Boobity Bee?
Yeah, you're still my catchphrase.
Yeah, screw you guys. I'm getting that shit copyrighted. I'm going to use that, I'm just going to write that at the end of all my emails. Boobity Bee, Joe Lynch.
Oh, man.
Sorry.
Oh, man, I can see the T-shirts selling like hotcakes.
Oh, great. Yeah, well,
really
not as hot as Shit Ghost.
Shit Ghost.
Come on, you can't deny that the greatest new term since show me the money, Shit Ghost.
What is exactly Shit Ghost from?
Yeah,
think about it for a second, boys. Just think about it.
Yeah, I was actually watching Wrong Turn 2 at work with all my buddies, and they noticed that Sam, one of my fellow workers, he picked up on that instantly. Shit Ghost.
Ah. I must, you know what? I feel bad. I think I missed the Shit Ghost from the movie.
It's a bit of a way homer. It's just one of those ones where you go, oh, that's right. It's just one of these weird terms that I just came up with while I was in Tokyo shooting this drift racing thing, and my audio guy just blasted ass in my face, and I'm like, oh, dude, Shit Ghost. And he's like, that's good. I'm like, shit, I'm going to use that someday. So we're on the set of the movie, and, the line in the movie was just ooh, I farted. Not really the most choice line in the world. And, I'm just what's great is working with these actors, and you get to really just kind of throw these lines out and see what they do with them. Mm-hmm. So, I'm throwing these weird, ooh, float an air biscuit, all these weird ones that I remember. And one was, what was it? Fuck. I made the guy do an impression of Rodney Dangerfield in Caddyshack. He was like, oh, somebody step on a duck, And then at the last take, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to try it. It'll probably never get used. And I had the Fox executive standing next to me. I'm like, oh man, I'm going to get fired by saying Shit Ghost. Mm-hmm. And during the scene I go, say Shit Ghost. And the guy Steve Braun is like, what? Shit Ghost. And it's there's a pause, and he goes, that's good. He uses it, and then I turn to the executive. He goes, you're definitely printing that one. That's funny. I'm like, sweet. So hopefully, I'm hoping that someday some little kid on a subway or in a public area will just come and dust the crops next to me and just blast ass, and he'll be like, Shit Ghost. I'm like, I came up with that fuckface. I should be getting royalties on that,
Do you ever bring around a notepad with you when you get these these great ideas like the Shit Ghost? Or
no, it just kind of burrows itself in my head like a maggot. It's just I'm gonna stick around for a little while, and anytime you need to have some kind of weird euphemism for a queef or a fart or cum or shit or something like that, I'll be there for you, Joe, to have a nice little thesaurus of awful terms.
Have you heard the term swamp ass?
Oh, dude, have you ever heard of anal rot?
No, I haven't heard that one.
Well, it's what happens after you have swamp ass. So that's stage 2 swamp ass is anal rot.
Oh man,
swamp ass is
or zombie ass. Zombie ass is always actually stage 3 is zombie ass. If you have zombie ass, if your ass is truly undead, you will know. and unfortunately, it goes from swamp ass to anal rot to zombie ass, and really at that point you're fucked. I'm sorry, top dog.
Yeah, those are also all excellent titles for a film.
Oh, dude, come on, swamp ass would be. Could you imagine if they had I firmly believe if they did a sequel to Hatchet, it should be called Hatchet 2 Swamp Ass. That would be so badass. I'm going to call Green right now, and I'm going to get, him on that right now. He'll be like, he'll just hang up on me, though. He'll be like, oh, that's good, Joe. Click. Adam, hello? I think he liked it,
So were you a fan of Hatchet?
Oh, I love Hatchet. I've seen Hatchet about 6 times, and this is before, I saw Hatchet first, before I knew Adam, and then when I saw it, I was like, I gotta meet the sick fuck who made this movie, because we clearly have the same sensibilities, just watching it elicited the same feeling I had when, when I was reading the script for it the first time, or for Wrong Turn 2, or just thinking about, I watched on Friday, what was it, Fright Night, right? Mm. And I love fucking Fright Night. There's nothing better than seeing Fright Night on HD in Letterboxd. I'd never seen it in Letterboxd before, so rediscovering all my favorite 80s films like that, or From Beyond, which has never come out on DVD until now, and it looks beautiful. You know, rediscovering all these movies. That's what Hatchet felt like. Hatchet felt like it was a movie that I originally saw on VHS, and I got to see a new, you know, copy of it, or a new version, a double disc special edition with cleaned up, digital mastering. And that's the kind of feeling it evoked, was that fun sensibility of splatter movies, where you can be extreme, you can be scary, you're allowed all this, but there's this, over-the-top nature that you can infuse action, it's like a bouillabaisse of a genre film. You can get away with all these sorts of things, including a sense of humor, which I think is very important sometimes. I mean, you watch a movie like The Descent, right, where it is so stark and so, unrelenting. That the few moments that you have humor in it, like when the girls are having like that kind of almost disarming humor to it, it works because it's that kind of sugar to make the medicine go down. And then when it gets intense, it gets really intense. But even like a film like 30 Days of Night, which I saw last week, and it is fucking amazing.
Is it? Yeah,
guys.
Yeah,
look,
I'm a big fan
some people are going to like it.
Novels, yeah.
Then you'll love this, because it captures Steve's words and Ben's art like I haven't seen in a graphic novel adaptation in a long time. Really. I mean, if this is the route we're going to go, where we're going to have these talented auteurs really put their efforts into making something faithful, like a faithful adaptation, but still retain like style, like what Zach did with 300.
Right.
That's what Slade does with this, but he still makes it this intense movie experience. And every time that there's a humorous moment, which I can count on my one hand, like 3 moments that the audience is allowed to kind of laugh. Whereas, obviously in Wrong Turn 2, I'm trying to make you laugh every moment I can, or you kind of go, holy shit, Those few moments you'll never forget, because the rest of the film is so just exactly what you said, bleak and stark, and it's a real fucking horror movie, And that's the thing. It's like you have those movies, and that movie, evokes the Thing, the Carpenter's Thing, whereas, Hatchet and Behind the Mask, and I haven't seen all of it, I've seen bits of it, but Trick or Treat, these films are trying to say, look, you are allowed to have fun with a horror movie. You can go on a roller coaster ride with us. I mean, that's what I call the movie the whole time. This is a splatter coaster. It's like it takes you all the way up the hill, and then once the axe goes right through her, her vagina and the entrails fall, that's where the first drop is, and it just kind of goes up and down and alley-oops. And even if you've seen the movie, that one scene where Jonesy and Amber are upside down, and the camera spins around. That's my loop-de-loop. Like I wanted to, it really, like, there's nothing better than going on a roller coaster. Whereas you can be afraid, you can laugh at your friends, you can turn to them and go, "Holy fuck! I just lost my thumb and it's killing an old lady," And then when it's done, you're laughing, you're gasping, you're clawing for each other. You're going, "Holy shit! I want to do it again," And that to me is what is missing from a lot of horror films. And believe me, like I said before with 30 Days a Night, I love as grim and as nihilistic a horror movie as it can get. I love that, because, that uncompromising tour de force of extremities is, it's an experience. But it's also, you can still have fun with horror movies, too. And in the last couple of years, everyone's been talking about it, the whole torture porn thing.
Right.
Look, I really feel like that did... The films that came out around that time, like Hostel
2.
I think they served their purpose. That gritty realism. I mean, after seeing those poor people, the refugees getting tied up and being made, being put through torture, or seeing on the internet like beheadings and stuff like that, there's this stark realism that I think, Eli was smart enough to tap into, and these filmmakers were smart enough to go, God, there's nothing scarier than knowing you are going to die and I'm going to do it to you, But it only goes so far. Like, look at J-horror a couple of years ago, and look at the zombie film. Horror films ebb and flow if they want to stay successful. The genres have to evolve. I'm hoping that for like the next year, maybe we'll have a lot of fun with some horror movies, and then hopefully, if all goes well, the way that the tide seems to be changing, I hope the monster movie comes back, with The Host and with Cloverfield.
The Host is really great.
I love that movie.
Yeah, we're all big fans of The Host.
Love The Host. I remember watching that movie and going, okay, you know what, the monster movie's back. Because here's someone who did something that I haven't seen since, and I hate to use it all the time, but I do, but since like either Jaws or The Blob. You know, where you can have a great monster movie, but if you don't have good characters, who gives a shit? You know, like I've always felt like the host is really The Blob meets Little Miss Sunshine. You know, you have this like crazy dysfunctional family, but then you have this monster movie that is just not going to give a shit about anybody. I'm going to eat you. I don't care.
Oh, but you're also so multi-layered, you know.
Exactly, and the movie is so great because you don't know who's going to live or die. It's like, wait a second, are you second billing on the task list? Oh, I can't eat you. You know, I had no clue who was going to live or die, and that's what's fun about horror movies. If you can point out who's going to die, which we all do, you know, if you can kind of go, okay, you're first, you're second, your second act. Okay, if you give a blowjob, you're definitely out. If you smoke weed, you're out the third act. You know, I mean, that's part of the fun, but it also betrays us because we've seen so many, and I clearly know you guys have seen your share, that part of the experience is dull because you're like, okay, unless this movie totally tries to flip a switch on me, I kind of know where it's going to go. And then it's refreshing to see movies, you know, where you don't know what's going to happen next, where you don't go, you know, oh, I saw that coming, you know. So that's what I'm hoping that the tides change a little bit and that we can have a little fun with horror films again, which I think we are. You know, there's a lot of filmmakers who want to have fun with these sort of films, you know.
Did you have like some death scenes planned out, like you know, before you did this movie, like some death scenes you really wanted to put in a movie?
I always wanted to see the Snorri Cam death, the one where, you know, I'm hoping I'm not spoiling too much, but there's a scene in the movie, you guys have seen it, but, you know, where I use a camera rig that I've never seen used in a kill before. I've always liked that look. I always liked that kind of fixed camera look. If it's done right, you know. There's this great Mick Jagger video that came out a couple of years ago that Mark Romanek directed, who was doing Wolfman, and he just pushed that kind of idea to the limit where the camera would just move wherever the person moved, and that was it. It was always a fix. But I always felt like, God, how great would it be to see someone get fucking shot or get an axe in the head and actually watch them hit the ground, you know, like, because then you as the viewer are stuck watching this die. It's not like you can just kind of go, oh yeah, we'll go cut, angle, effect, which is, you know, usually the way of, you know, horror films work. You know, it's all about sleight of hand. But I thought, what's the greatest sleight of hand is to have something happen in one take, or have something happen where you don't expect it. Like, we've all seen the shot where there's a profile shot of a girl looking around in the spooky house, and they back up, and they back up, and they back up, and you know there's a big 7-foot-tall dude that's waiting to be like the kind of horror wall. She hits it and goes, oh shit! You know, like, when you see that shot coming up, you know what's going to happen. You know, horror. I really firmly believe, and I'm not just saying this because I love you all out there, but I really feel like horror fans are some of the most, you know, decisive and intelligent film film buffs out there, because they will they know, you know, I really believe this. They know their shit. They know the conventions. They've seen enough to know like what works, what doesn't. And when something new comes out, they'll either point it out and say that's kick-ass, or they'll reject it. But at least, you know, if you can try to defy the convention a little bit, then you're at least trying. You know, like I tried so hard to do every death where you didn't know what was going to happen, or it was done in a way that you haven't seen before, or it was done in a way that was effective. Like, I've always, I hate to say it, but I've always been so brutally disturbed by all those internet beheading videos, yet when they came out, and when you have like your friend on IM go, you gotta check this out, LOL, OMG, you know, you sit there and you go, oh my fucking God, why am I watching this? But I can't stop, you know. And I wanted to tap into that. I mean, what happened to Daniel Pearl a couple of years ago, not the great Texas Chainsaw DP, but the journalist, was awful, was horrible, and to watch that happen was just devastating to people. But without it being exploitive, I wanted to take that kind of horrible feeling I got and harness that, you know. And the same thing with like the Snorri Cam death. It's like I wanted to do something where you weren't expecting it, and that's what makes it even better. Like when we show that, you know, in the festivals, and people are, you know, sitting there going, I've seen this shot before. Oh Jesus, you know, like you just don't expect it, you know. So it's like those two in particular were ones that I've always said, like, if I ever get to make a horror movie, I got to at least try those. And the rest were really like reading the script and going, but what do I want to see? You know, not as a filmmaker, but as a fan. Like the first kill has really always been in the script. It was, she gets her lips ripped off. She turns over, 3 fingers there. He lifts the axe, and he's just about to go down, and it cuts to black. And my feeling to that is, no, I want to see what happens. I want to see everything, but do it in a way where it's not just, a crap, or it's not just, a piece of shit Z movie where it's just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to show it all to you and then that's it, but with no style or substance or any, verve at all.
Now, I would say what I think really sells it is then when they walk off with her.
Oh God! Well, that's to me is the ending. So, like, if anything, those boys get to walk off into the sunset like Butch and Sundance. Hey, they did their job. Like, I wanted to make it seem like at the very least you can watch the movie and go, well, at least those guys got away with a nice meal. And at least they split it up equally. There's not going to be any fighting amongst the siblings. It'll be nice.
Right.
But with that kill. In the script, I went, no, I want to see it all, and I storyboarded the film before I even went to Fox, and I said, look, at least that opening scene, and said, what if we did it like this? What if we just showed everything but didn't show anything? And look at Dead Alive. The beginning of Dead Alive does exactly that. It gives you everything, and then it cuts right when the guy's he's like, Zingaya, cut. And I remember watching the movie going, no, I want to see what happens. I want to see that guy's head get split open. I want to see, come on, it's Peter Jackson,
Right.
And that's where I wanted to take it with this film. I wanted to really tap into that 12-year-old who was like watching all these movies, going, well, "What would I do?" Because that's another thing. It's like when you have a horror fan, most times, I might be just in the minority, who knows? But when I talk to everybody, like when I talk to fans out there and my friends and stuff, it always seems like it's the same thing. When we see something that we feel doesn't work, we're always going, well, what would I do? And here it is, I was given a chance to actually act on that. I thought that was fucking rad. I was like, oh shit, I could actually, and really it came down to, what can I get away with? And I always thought like, oh shit, I don't know if I can get away with tying a vegan up with razor wire and feeding her entrails. On paper, like me telling that to you, that sounds absolutely repugnant,
Right.
But, I would call Fox up and go, and tell them that and explain it to them, and there would be a pause. And all they would say is, can you do it on budget? And I would say, fuck yeah. And, not knowing if I really could or not, but I would say, fuck yeah. And then they would just hang up. I think they also knew that whatever I did, they could always cut away from it, or they could always just say, hey, you know what, you can make the R-rated version. But once they saw the movie, they went, there's absolutely no way we can cut any of this. This is part of the movie, So that was the most fun challenge, was challenging myself as a fan, saying, what do I want to see? And how do I go about doing it?
What exactly draws you to the cannibal inbred hillbillies?
That they're us,
right?
That was the thing that I always get scared about. Maybe that's the reason why I love that movie Breakdown so much. Is that when you're on the open road like that, it could very well happen to anybody. It's just one false move, one major mistake or minor mistake at the time. And you're not dealing with, monsters per se. You're dealing with people, And that was one of my major concerns from the beginning, was I never called them monsters. I never called them mutants. I called them the family. Because whether you like it or not, I know there's some people who don't like that, I show more of the family or that I make them more into a family. And some people who do. But I truly feel in my heart that the most frightening thing in my childhood was my dinner table. I'm dead serious. That was... when my old man would come home and there would be that tension in the air, like when he's pissed off or had a bad day at work, or there's something going on in the family, that was terrifying to me, and to harness a little bit of that and make the family scary again by making them real and making you go, oh shit, you know what, they're just like me, that's what scares me, and that's part of the reason why if they weren't cannibal hillbilly mutants, I'd still find them incredibly freaky,
Right.
It just so happens that they come from West Virginia and they're, subjected to, hey, I have nothing against West Virginia, but I have a feeling like the tourism, group over there does not like the movie or me right now, So.
Well, I know we asked this John about that. What do people think about these kind of movies in West Virginia?
I don't know.
I'm so curious.
They just gotta. I don't know. I hear some about them, but we're definitely not all like mutant, retarded, like, crazy families or anything like
God,
that.
no, just those people in that one section of town, that's all. Hey, we all have to have those guys out there so that we can all look better.
I was actually wondering why you picked Greenbrier County.
Well, the only reason why was because they picked it in the first film, and originally in the script, they didn't have that, and I was very, very adamant about making sure there was as many ties to the first film as possible without it being too much like a direct sequel. Because look, everyone says the same thing. Well, he's in Goose Quebec, and I'm like, all right, honestly, if you were in the situation that she and Desmond Harrington were in the first film, would you even go near a fucking bush without being concerned? I would stay as far away from the woods or a forest or a topiary garden or a fucking zoo as much as I could so that I wouldn't have to have those kind of feelings again. So bringing them back would make absolutely no sense. So it had to be kind of a new group of people. But, with knowing that, the mythology of the first film and the storyline of the first film and what Alan, did with the script and what, Rob and Stan had developed with it, I wanted to make sure that, fans, because I knew that Fox was going to put a double disc, like the box set out, and I know there's going to be people who were going to watch both together. And I wanted to kind of slyly put in enough where when people can watch it, they can go, oh, shit, there is connections to it. Like, Old Timer. That guy was never in the original Wrong Turn 2 script. It was just an old man. Mm-hmm. And I thought, God, how great would it be to watch this movie and perceive the Old Timer from the first film completely? Because, I just watched Wrong Turn 1 on FX again, and I hadn't seen it for like 6 or 8 months. After I started the movie, I tried not to watch it as much anymore. I wanted to, get the elements I needed and go and run and make it my own film. But I just watched it again, and I'm watching it and going to Wayne Robson going, I remember watching it going, I don't know if this guy's in on it or not. Because Desmond at the end stops and grabs the map and leaves. And that guy is just like, I'm sorry, buddy. He could be and might not be part of it. Now, when you watch Wrong Turn 2, you go, son of a bitch, that motherfucker was in on it the whole time, But that enriches the whole kind of saga experience, or Three Finger, having Three Finger in there was integral. I mean, again, in the original script, I don't think it was Three Finger. It was Sawtooth. I'm going, actually, boys, I think Three Finger lived at the end, and another thing is, and this one's really random, but I always thought it would be great to have something small from the first film. Because, look, they're scavengers. These people are survivors, right? I firmly believe that the ultimate survivalists in the entire film are the family. I mean, they don't really live because they all die at the end, but they are truly the ultimate survivalists. That family lineage has been going on for years, Mm-hmm. And for them to be the ultimate survivors, I just thought was great. Having something like, if you've seen the first film and you see Jeremy Sisto's shirt, he's got this kind of paisley, yellow shirt, not paisley, just kind of, I was going to say gay, but I know, hey, sorry, I'm not being politically correct here, but go on, sorry, gay shirt, and then he dies, he gets the arrows through the back, and I thought, this family doesn't probably have Tide. I don't think they have washer-dryer combos. Mm-hmm. So they're just going to take clothing from their victims. So if you look closely, Brother is actually wearing Jeremy Sisto's shirt. It's one of those things that if you don't listen to this right now or don't listen to the commentary, you'll be like, "What the fuck are you talking about, Lynch?" I didn't need a pop-up video thing to be like, "Boop," and then it's like, "Oh, look, Jeremy Sisto's shirt from Wrong Turn 1." But it's those little things that, as a fan myself, if I heard, that was in there, I'd be like, "That's fucking cool." At least you're trying,
Mm-hmm. We get a caller here. We got Ryan on the line.
Holy shit! Somebody actually called in.
Oh yeah, he's been on the line for a while. He's had a hold there.
Yeah, I've been on hold just listening to you. You got a lot of energy to you.
Hey, is this you, Ryan? Hi, Ryan. How's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
Dude, I'm doing great, man. It's like Christmas morning for the past 3 days. My movie's out. It's awesome.
Yeah, I watched it this morning, actually. I loved it. I recommend everybody go out and see it. It's, the reality TV gimmick. I hate reality TV, and I was so happy to see a cast just get voted out.
Well, it's so much part of our life now, and especially with, with the writer's strike coming up and, reality TV becoming so much a part of our lives, And I'll be honest with you, I hate reality TV too, But there's certain reality shows that I fucking love.
Yeah,
I'm going to get ruined for this, but there's one called Paradise Hotel that was on Fox a couple of years ago. That was the greatest summer of like mine and my wife's lives, because we just sat there every week and watched this riveted, like watching what these people would do next, and usually, like I'll admit, man, Halloween Resurrection sucks ass. They did not use that conceit well enough. I don't believe Busta Rhymes is a motherfucking producer at all, or no Kung Fu either, But there's actually a really great horror movie called My Little Eye that came out a couple of years ago that uses the reality show conceit a little more subversively, but it's really, really well done, And plus, I thought, hey, you know what? The reality show gimmick makes it easier for me to be able to do things with video, which again, like I love fucking mixing medias up and stuff like that, because then, with M's beheading or the guy getting scalped on the surveillance camera, it's like those are the things that when you watch, the Fox News at 11 and you're seeing like, this just in, another, gang robbery at the local 7-Eleven, and you see these awful, harrowing images, it evokes an emotion, and I thought, hey, here's a device that I can use, the reality show, to be able to do those things and tap into those fears that we have, But I hate reality shows.
Yeah. I just going to mention, I don't think a show goes by where John doesn't talk about Busta Rhymes beating up Michael Myers.
Is that like that was the bottom of the barrel? That really was. That was the Troll 2 moment in the Halloween series. I don't care what anyone says. Look, I didn't like Rob Zombie's Halloween. I loved the first half, or at least I loved where it was going, and then I just felt like it just didn't work for me. But nothing is as bad as Halloween Resurrection. I'll even say that it's worse than Halloween 6. At least Halloween 6 has Paul Rudd. Let's just go on record for that. Stop the Rudd. Myers versus Rudd, which I think they should probably bring back, with Paul Rudd being like, Judd Apatow should actually remake Halloween and just have all his gang getting chased by Michael Myers. It should be played by, William Shatner.
Now we're talking.
Could you imagine if fucking Shatner pulled out, or you see, Michael Myers, he gets, what is it, a wire hanger in his eye, and he pulls it out, and he pulls off the mask, and he's like, oh, it's me, That would be fucking awesome. Apatow, get on it.
Yeah, when we had Sherry Moon on, I mentioned that I would really love to hear Shatner do some covers of Rob Zombie tunes.
Oh God! Have you ever heard his spoken word album where he and Rollins collaborated?
No, I haven't heard that one, but I knew the Spaced Out album.
That's an iTuneser. You gotta listen to that one. It's awesome.
Oh man! Did you have anything else, Ryron?
Yeah, one of my favorite things about this movie was the little touches or the little hints. Like I think that I thought the director or producer character was wearing a Battle Royale shirt.
Oh yeah, that was so important for me to have. Like I read the script and said that it was like a USSR shirt or something like that. It's like, ooh, he's supposed to be so anti-establishment. He's bucking the trend. I'm like, this was, if this guy was like a kind of geeky dude who was given his first chance at making a big, production, and he might have felt like he was a little in over his head. Sounds like someone I know. What would reflect that? And I felt like, God, the Battle Royale shirt, because I'm a huge, Battle Royale is one of my favorite films of all time. And I thought, God, this guy would probably want to make his own Battle Royale, which is kind of what the reality show is, And getting that shirt in there was a bitch, but it's another one of those things that, like Ryan pointed out, it's like, if I was a fan and I watched the movie and I saw a Battle Royale reference, I would be like, I'm fucking in on this movie. I can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah, that caught my eye right away. Ryan noticed it too, I assume.
Yeah, I guess that anybody who's seen Battle Royale is probably going to just flip out at that. You're in good hands when there's the Battle Royale reference instead of the Halloween Resurrection reference.
Well, I tried to look for a Halloween Resurrection T-shirt. They just were all out. Sorry.
Man. You could have called up John. You could have borrowed his.
Oh, damn it. Well, next time.
It's in heavy rotation, though, right now. So.
Why? Is it the T-shirt you use when you're done jerking off?
Oh,
That's
man.
what I would be using it for.
Do you have, cameras in my room?
Those webcams are being put to good use.
Oh, now, that's a reality show I want to see.
Oh, that's truly frightening.
How was Henry Rollins to work with?
Oh, man, I would work with Henry Rollins forever. Like, just based on, not on his reputation or not the fact that he's just a consummate badass and, you know, anytime you're walking around with Henry Rollins, you get a little bit of badass residue on you.
Mm-hmm.
You know? He is just one of the most amazingly nice and professional people. Like, he'll come on set and he'll do whatever you want, you know, and give his all. Like, I could not, like, I feel like I've just been stroking him for the past couple of months, but he really is one of the greatest people I've ever got the fortunate chance to meet and work with, and I will try my damnedest to put him in everything I do just to work with him again, just to have his kind of energy on set. Every time he came on set, it pushed everybody further. Not because he's like this, you know, big, intense guy, he's going to kick some ass. No, because everyone respected him. He was nice to everybody. He talked to everybody. He talked to everybody from everything from, you know, the latest, you know, Public Image LTD album to, you know, the West Memphis 3 guys to Man Bites Dog. The guy is just incredibly intelligent. He's incredibly nice. And, you know, I mean, he's done more than his share of publicity just getting this movie out. And really the reason why is because he said to me, he goes, this is the first movie I'm really, really proud of. You know, it's like, I like the other movies I've done, but they've been jobs. You know, it's like I moved from job to job. You know, that's all it is. You know, if you watch the DVD, he says his biggest fear is unemployment. You know, but him being able to go to Comic-Con and do the Fangoria conventions and do Fango Radio when he's in the middle of a fucking spoken word tour and writing a new book and, you know, and probably, you know, saving lives around the world, you know, when we don't know it, when he's, you know, secretly turns into a superhero, which I know he is, you know, but he is so awesome. Like, I really hope that this movie, you know, opens his world up a little bit and maybe he gets to make more movies like this or, you know, or do different roles or something, you know, like I wanted, after seeing, and I love Gulader and I love Feast, but I felt a little bad when I saw Rollins in pink pajamas, and I felt like I needed to like firmly attach Rollins' balls back into cinema again, you know, and what better way than to make him a fucking badass Marine with arrow dynamite, you know?
Oh, yeah. So one-liners, I mean...
Oh, it was perfect.
Thank you.
So, Ken Kirschinger versus Henry Rollins for real. Who would win?
Ooh, what was that?
Ken Kirschinger versus Henry Rollins for real. Who would win?
Well, if you take the height difference, it would kind of be like, do you guys remember that scene in Freaked where Elijah Scuggs, you know, Randy Quaid is up against that big screaming Mad George monster, and he just kind of goes bonk, and he hits him down on the head because he's like 8 feet tall versus 6 feet tall? That's kind of what Kirschinger would probably do to Rollins, but I think Rollins would probably, like, retract by doing a death blow to Kirschinger's nuts. I think it would be a draw. I think it would be, oh my God, if I ever got the chance to remake They Live, I would only want to remake 8 minutes of it, and I would want Ken Kirschinger and Henry Rollins to be in that alley and just beat the mother-loving shit out of each other. That's what I'm talking about.
Classic fight scene right there.
Oh, that's one of the best.
Piper rules in that fight scene.
Piper, I got to meet him in Dallas for Fright Fest, and I just went up to him and I just said, "Sir, I want to shake your hands, both of them. I want to shake your hand for 9 of the greatest minutes of fighting that I've ever seen in a film." And then he was like, "Oh, thanks, brother. You know, buy a Howl Out T-shirt." You know, I was like, "Oh, I will buy 3, but unfortunately, I'm fat and they don't look good on me. And you only have medium." So, you know, but seriously, that is one of the greatest fight scenes of all time. If I had to do it again, or if I got the chance to do it, I would have those 2 motherfuckers, Kirschinger and Rollins, just destroying each other. That would be so awesome.
I don't know why Piper never got more movie roles, you know, like good movie roles. Because I thought he's probably the best, like, wrestler turned actor.
Oh, totally. But when you make Hell Comes to Frogtown, it's not really the best career choice ever. Come on. You know, the only thing that movie had going for it was great special effects. I think it was Screaming Mad George who did that one too. But you know, it's just awful. It's an awful fucking movie. But the only reason why I saw it was because it was Piper and it was because They Live. You know, because no one has a more badass line than "I have come to chew bubblegum and kick ass and all out of bubblegum."
Yeah.
That is
classic.
That is like the one line that John Wayne never got to say that was just forever minted by Roddy Piper, you know? And then to go from that to Frogtown? Oh, really, dude? You know? And look, Kurt Russell is the shit, right? Jack Burton, Jack McCready, you know, Snake Plissken and all that. And I wanted Piper to be another kind of badass all-American dude, you know, like
I thought it was going to happen. I really did.
I did too, man. I was hoping for it, you know, and then it just didn't happen and stuff. But I heard that he's really good in that movie St. John Smith, if it ever gets finished and stuff.
Yeah,
I heard really good things about it.
Yeah, I don't know when it's ever actually coming out.
You know, he's been, you know, out there kind of pumping it, you know, and kind of getting the buzz out and everything. But I'm just sitting there going, I want to fucking see it, because I've seen little bits and pieces, and I'm going, oh my God, Roddy Piper is back.
Yeah.
But come on, let's get the rest of them back. Well, not like 2 minutes of footage that I've seen.
Right.
He's definitely someone I would love to work with. I got very close to working with him. There's a band that I did I was almost going to do a music video for named 3, which is actually the song in Nina's headphones in the movie. Mm-hmm. It's this great band that's actually kind of like a side project for Coheed and Cambria, but they sounded very much like Faith No More, which is one of my favorite bands. So I got the CD and I sought them out, and we were very close to making a video where it was going to be a sequel to They Lived, and we were going to have Roddy Piper in it, and I was so excited. We were going to have boxes of, you know, sunglasses and people with, you know, skeleton faces and shit like that, and weird subliminal messages, and then the budget just couldn't accommodate getting Roddy out there, and I was just like, I can't do it. I need the Piper, you know.
Yeah.
I need I got to Piper down, you know. I needed him.
Yeah, he was battling cancer too.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, hey, you know, hopefully, if all goes well, I hope he gets the kind of Travolta comeback he deserves.
Yeah, definitely.
That would be great.
Tarantino, get on it. Because I know he's listening right now. He and Judd Apatow are actually listening together in Hollywood going, we totally have to do this.
Man. Yeah, I think everyone probably listens to this to hear, get some ideas for some new movie projects.
Of course.
Well, they have, like, the titles now after earlier.
Yeah, really. Swamp Ass. Swamp Ass is actually being optioned. I'm looking at IMDb right now. Swamp Ass has just been optioned by Steven Spielberg.
Oh, man.
DreamWorks is all over that thing, man.
The name of Stephen King's new book, too.
Hey, what did you guys think of, what did you think of Cell?
I loved Cell.
I did, too. I felt like the last third of it is it's a little out, like, loose and out there, but that in the first 2 acts are so good. The first 2/3 of that book are amazing, you know.
Some people didn't like the ending, but I really enjoyed the ending, too. I kind of like it open-ended like it was.
It needs to be. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that it evoked so much of The Stand in all the good ways.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
You know, it almost felt like an extension of The Stand, you know, where if you didn't have that first 2 chapters, you really could see it in that same world, you know. I'm curious to see what Eli does with the movie, because I think, like, he's definitely
he's doing the movie?
That's that's what they've been talking about, you know.
Oh, okay.
I just want to see those first 2 chapters on film. That really, I remember reading that and going, this is going to make the most amazing opening scene to any film ever made.
Oh, yeah.
It really is. It's fucking badass, you know.
I'm still waiting for a good Talisman movie. That's all I ask for.
They've been talking about that thing forever, you know. I mean, what was it? There was another one that they were just, From a View of Gate is being done by Tobe Hooper.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they just announced it today, and it's like, look, you know, King's last couple books, you know, I will read Stephen King until he dies or I die, and even after he dies, you know they're gonna find like 15 books in the Crypt.
You'll have a new book every year, right?
Exactly. He's going to be the Tupac of horror film, you know, of horror books.
Yeah.
As long as they don't do the Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. That's the only one I don't want to see.
They've been wanting to do that for years. Romero's been trying to make that for years. I agree. I think that's one of... It's my least favorite book of his in the last couple of years. Even Hearts of Atlantis had something more than that book. It just you know. I love Stephen King, and seeing 1408, I just saw it recently. It was like, God, I remember all those good old days of like the late 80s, early 90s, when you could almost count on every year there being a great Stephen King movie. Like or Misery. Even even Graveyard Shift.
Yeah.
Seeing Graveyard Shift, a big fucking rat in a mill press, that was awesome.
Yeah.
You know, that was it's funny because I remember being on the set of Wrong Turn 2 at the end during the whole meat grinder scene, going, God, I feel like I'm on the set of Graveyard Shift. There should be a big scary rat from Gordon Smith jumping out at any moment. You know,
that's what you need to bring along with you. Just have like a giant rat to bring with you.
I need an entourage of a giant rat. I think I can make that happen. I do. I really do. Do you guys remember the movie Body Parts?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just watched that again, and that is such a great movie. You know, it's a shame that it got hurt by the whole Jeffrey Dahmer thing, because that's, you know, like it came out and then Jeffrey Dahmer was discovered, and they're like, wait, the movie's called Body Parts? Fuck no, you know. But not only does it have like one of the best car crashes I've ever seen, but it's so unrelentingly violent. You know, Eric Red did such a good job with that movie. You know, and I hope that what's his new movie? It's like 100 Feet or something like that with Famke Janssen. But I can't wait to see what he does next. You know, and Gordon Smith, who did the effects for that, he was one of those guys who did like Jacob's Ladder and Platoon, that had a different feel to his effects. Whereas you had Savini and Baker and Shostrom and Greg Canham, that you could tell their work. And Gordon Smith had this weird thing where he darkened his blood to the point where it was like black, you know. And when I was, one of the greatest days of my life was being up in Vancouver, and the special effects artist's wife comes in, Maureen, and she lays out 35 samples of blood and goes, which blood do you want? I go, well, I definitely want more Day of the Dead blood than Dawn of the Dead blood, obviously. I don't want tempura paint. And we'd sit there for days mixing blood, you know, because I'd always heard that, you know, with Dawn of the Dead, the blood on set never looked like tempura paint. You know, it was the way that the film stock was made, and also, 3M made the blood at the time, and it was just the way it was projected. So I always was like, oh, God, I never want that to happen to me. And it actually happens in one moment in Wrong Turn 2 that, I don't want to point it out specifically so people can go, yeah, you're right, Lynch, you fucked up. But there's one moment where I almost feel like the blood is too dark, and that's only because on set it looked great, on film it just photographed differently, But what Gordon Smith did with that movie is he made the blood so goddamn dark, but it still felt real. Like Body Parts and Platoon and Jacob's Ladder, and he's done a bunch of other movies, but he was one of those guys that I always went to the movies to go see because he did it. He's so good. Sorry, that was a terrible rant. I went off on a complete
we've all over the place today.
I just want to bring up quick here, Mr. Voorhees in our chat room.
Hey, Mr. Voorhees, how are you?
He says Talisman will be a TNT on TNT next summer. It'll be a 6-hour miniseries.
Oh.
Yeah, DreamWorks supposedly has that, and they got, was it Aaron Kruger, the guy who did The Ring, to, write it and shit like that, but I just heard that they put it kind of on standby because it's a big book. It's like trying to do Clive Barker's Weave World as a TV movie. You know what I mean? It's too dense. Any Clive Barker stuff is too dense for anything. That's why Midnight Meat Train might be perfect because it was 78 pages long, whereas a Magica, The Great and Secret Show are huge. And that's why Lord of Illusions failed. Talisman is a very dense book. Unless you make it into a series, I don't think anyone can do it right. Yeah, a mini-series means you're going to get it. You're going to get 6 minutes, 6 hours, and that's it. Hold on one second. I'm going to change phones because I've actually been talking so goddamn long that the battery's going to die, and I don't want to show stuff.
Well, we can actually wrap it up here if you want. We had you on about an hour. I told you half an hour beforehand. Yeah.
Yeah, we lied to you. We told you half.
Damn it. Well, shit, man, I could talk all night. Obviously. That's the thing, that's what's great about horror fans, is that you can get two horror fans in a room and you say one movie and they'll either go fuck yeah, or, but it'll automatically spark a conversation. And you really don't get that with other genres as much. It's not like you can take two dudes and be like, man, there's just something about Geronimo that just is so much better than Unforgiven, or romantic comedies. It's like, I really feel like Sleepless in Seattle is much better than You Got Mail. Fuck yeah, man, You Got Mail rules. It's not the same. But you get a bunch of horror movie fans together. Look at us. We're sitting here going fuck yeah, kick ass. It's like horror movies really do elicit that kind of response out of people. It's a very visceral kind of genre, and it elicits a very visceral experience for the viewer. And horror fans are the best fans in the world. They really are. And I'm proud to say that I'm a horror fan. And it's the last 6 to 8 months of going around, going to the Fango cons, and meeting you guys online, and doing the festivals and everything. It's been like the best summer camp in the world because I get to hang out and talk about the thing that I love, and that's the horror genre. And there's just not too many genres out there that allow you to, to kind of display so much filleting love to a type of a movie genre like the horror films do. So it's great. I love talking to you guys, man. It's awesome.
I just want to mention your website, joelynch.net, which, as soon as I went there, I noticed, it's based off like an EC Comics.
Yeah, I love that. I love the old EC, Bill Gaines stuff, just reading that shit. But I grew up watching Tales from the Crypt on HBO.
Uh-huh.
That was like a little slice of heaven every week. Those were the best, man. Weren't those awesome? Like, you got good directors. It's not like you just got some schmo who did, this or that or the other thing with, like, TV. You're getting Zemeckis, and you're getting, Walter Hill, and you're getting, even fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger did it. But, like, Bill Malone's, guy who did House on Haunted Hill, he did one, like, in one of the few seasons, it was like one of the last seasons, and it was one of the most frightening things I've seen on TV. And then Bill Friedkin does one, which is equally frightening. And that's what I love about the whole EC thing is it brings the best out of people both behind and in front of the camera and in writing and in fans. Because when you hear about the Crypt Keeper, you're like, oh, cool.
Oh, yeah. Right.
So I like it just felt like I needed to have that as my splash page.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. There's actually an episode of Tales from the Crypt which kind of reminded me. I kind of thought maybe that's where he got the idea for 30 Days a Night, because they kind of do the same thing where the vampires go to Alaska. Because
someone else told me that.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever saw that. Was that? I'm trying to remember which one that was. That's one of the few that I don't remember.
I think it's
Michael Ironsides is in that one.
Yeah, he is. It's one of the. It's either. I don't think it's the last one, because when the last one was all British ones. But
British ones.
Yeah, the last season. But I think it's the season before that.
Huh.
I think you're right. The old comic, it was a Jack Davis one, like the actual the comic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. That's strange. I gotta seek that out.
Yeah.
But seriously, like if you, all kidding aside, 30 Days a Night is the shit.
Oh yeah.
I think it's gonna, if it does well,
it's a similar
I
idea.
think it's gonna change the game.
But yeah.
I really think it's gonna change the game with people. I think people are gonna go, wow, I want more of this type of horror movie. And again, it's another monster movie because the vampires aren't vampires to me. They're like these pack of wolves. It's not like you got these sexy homoerotic kind of like swishy bourgeois dudes who are like, I'm going to suck your neck. These motherfuckers tear people apart. And that's frightening. That's terrifying to know that they're not going to try to say some funky last line before they kill you to give you a chance to have some heroine or hero come in and save the day. You don't get that. They go in and they fucking kill you and eat you and then kill you again, And I think that's going to freak some people out, but I also think it's going to make a lot of horror fans happy.
I don't give too many spoilers here, but do they stick to the ending of the graphic novel in the movie?
Yes, they do.
Oh, okay, cool.
The only thing that's different, and I'm not going to give too much away here, is there's one subplot that's in the comic that is justifiably omitted in the film because it just doesn't need to be there, and if you know the comic, you'll know what I'm talking about, which is actually addressed in those short films that they did to promote the film, Blood Trails.
Oh, yeah, they're like on Fear Net.
They're all set in New Orleans and stuff, which is where the comic is.
I haven't watched those yet.
Yeah, they're not bad. At least they give you a taste of what's to come, but once you see what Slade and Niles do with 30 Days, you're going to fucking shit, and you can definitely vouch it is the first good Josh Hartnett film.
I actually, when I heard he was in it, I was like, oh, I don't know.
Dude, everybody, there was like a collective groan on the internet when it was announced. But he is fucking solid now. That's whether that's Slade's direction or the actor just going, I'm gonna kick some ass here and do something really, really effective. Everybody's good in that. When you see Danny Houston in the film, he was in The Proposition, he was just in The Kingdom. He usually plays, or The Constant Gardener, he usually plays a very, like, kind of upper-class evil guy. Here, he is, I hope, if there was a god, they would nominate Danny Houston for an Oscar for this film. That's how fucking good he is. He is, like, Hannibal Lecter good. And then, of course, there's going to be people like, what the fuck are you talking about, Lynch? But he plays Marlowe like I've never seen anyone play a bad guy before. And I mean, you have Ben Foster, too, who's amazing in it as well, but Danny Houston just blew me away, especially if you've seen his other films, because you'll watch it, and then you'll see him in another film and go, that's the guy from 30 Days of Night? You have no clue. And I remember I saw The Proposition, and I saw it with Slade. He was sitting next to me, and he was taking pictures of Danny Houston the whole time. And later on, he goes, I got to get Danny Houston. He's just, if you've never seen The Proposition, that is an amazing film. It's not a horror film, but it's brutal. It's got a headshot in that film that has never been done before.
Yeah,
I've never seen a headshot like that.
Kind of a western, isn't it?
It's like an existential western where it's not about the plot, it's about the characters. Guy Pearce is in it, Danny Houston's in it. There's a lot of great people, and Nick Cave wrote it, which is just so cool. Nick Cave, and he also did the music, and it's really, really effective. But when you see Danny Houston in that, and then you see him in this, you'll be like, it's another actor, But 30 Days is going to rock. I think it's going to really rock. And Sony, you can send a check to Joe Lynch. Love him. No, I mean, but that's the thing. That's another thing. It's like when a horror fan sees a good horror movie, all they want to do is tell other people about it. Like when I first saw Battle Royale, I needed to tell everybody about it. I would get my friends copies.
Yeah.
You need to see it.
Yeah. I don't like to talk about too much on the show, but that's actually how we got to see it. Was one of the fans of ours actually sent me a copy of the movie.
But they're like trading cards. You become proud of it. You become like you have like kind of an ownership to it. It's like for the longest time I saw this movie called Satan's Little Helper. That was directed by the guy who did Squirm, right? I'm trying Joe Liebsman. I probably screwed that name up, but I saw it on video a couple of years ago, and it unnerved the shit out of me. And for like the next year, I would tell everybody about it. I would call my grandmother up and be like, "Grandma, you gotta see Satan's Little Helper," and she's like, "Oh, Joey, you're crazy," But that's the thing. It's like when you see a good horror movie, horror fans tend to want to spread the word, And then when I saw 30 Days a Night, I called like 6 friends afterwards and was like, "Dudes, wait until you see this movie." Most fans who walked out of like John Tucker Must Die. Or, I don't think they called 6 of their friends and went, right. John Tucker Must Die is fucking awesome, So I just wanted to kind of work John Tucker Must Die in there somehow.
Yeah. How about Creepshow 3? Did you call it?
Fuck Creepshow 3. Seriously, like we said before, Creepshow 3 is the boil on the ass of fucking cinema. It really, it will go down as the film that will slowly dethrone Troll 2 as the worst horror movie in existence. It is a pockmark on the Creepshow franchise. It is a pockmark on my eyeballs. It's awful. I mean, I remember a couple of years back they were talking about doing a reboot of Creepshow as kind of like a Go film, which I thought, fuck, that's a great idea. And eventually, Michael Dougherty did that with Trick or Treat. He took the kind of Creepshow anthology thing and interwove them into each other, which is such a brilliant idea. Now to think, like, if Creepshow did that with Stephen King stories, how many cool Stephen King stories, like, set in Castle Rock could you, interweave? That would have been awesome. But Creepshow 3, it's not even Creepshow fucking 3, man. No. There's no Stephen King at all in that. So I never thought I would actually say that Day of the Dead Contagion could be, beaten as a bad movie. Right. And of course the filmmakers of Contagion set out to do just that, So anyone who is a fan of Creepshow 3, sorry.
That movie I picked up because it was $5. I was like, I never knew they made a sequel to Day of the Dead.
That's what most people said. They're like, oh, they made a sequel? Oh, shit. And it's got a kind of cool cover. It looks like a Todd McFarlane graphic novel. You're like, oh, come on, it can't be that bad. Then you watch it and you're like, I want to seriously gouge my eyeballs out and skull fuck myself, because that would be more entertaining than watch this movie.
Those. I haven't seen either one.
I have them both if you ever want to borrow them. Man.
I don't know.
It's like, seriously, if you like each other, as friends, it would be like handing over the fucking VHS tape to the Ring to your mom.
Oh, man.
It's like, oh, here, Mom, check this out. And I swear to God, if you watch Creepshow 3, 7 days later, you will regret it.
Yeah, Christmas is coming up, Neil, so you better not.
Oh, all right.
No, Creepshow 3 is the type of movie you send to enemies. It's like a horse's head. To a horror fan, that's what you would do. Like, if you want to really piss a horror fan off, send them Creepshow 3, and you'll probably never hear from them again. Yeah, that'll be the horse's head in their bed.
Yeah, it was too bad too, because I love Creepshow. It's my favorites, and I wish they would do more of those movies where the short stories, the anthologies.
Oh yeah, I'm a sucker for those.
Yeah.
I
love those. I mean, that's what I loved about Masters of Horror, was like you would have a different story each week, from a different great filmmaker, and it was a shame that Romero didn't get to do one of those. I really thought he would be able to do one, but that whole conceit, and even in Creepshow 2, is so great. And again, it's another movie or series that really pays homage to the EC Comics of the day. I mean, especially Creepshow 1. The fact that Romero gets to do all the panels is genius.
Oh, that's just awesome.
Is fucking genius. Like, I mean, up until that point, everyone thought Romero was more of like this kind of verite documentarian of horror. And then he comes out from left field. It's like if Paul Greengrass decided to do like The Golden Compass or some shit like that, or Lord of the Rings, you know? It's like, where did this come from, dude? You know, and it works so perfectly. You know, and Creepshow 3 is genius. Creepshow 1 is genius.
Yeah.
Creepshow 3 is the absolute opposite of genius.
Right. And it does kind of suck that Creepshow 2 gets a special edition DVD. And Creepshow, the original one, it's just your basic DVD.
You know, those lucky bastards over in the UK, they're getting a special edition of Creepshow like 3 or 4 months before we are. I don't know where this, you know, hierarchy came from where they're lucky enough to get them, but I got to admit that the horror fans in the UK are the shit.
Yeah.
You know, I thought we were hardcore. Those motherfuckers put us to shame sometimes. So maybe it's best that they get, you know, they're rewarded lovely with Creepshow. But supposedly, I don't know if you've like looked at it online, but the special features look awesome.
No,
you know, it's the kind that, like, when you get the From Beyond disc, you're like, oh my god, there's so much stuff on here that I want to watch.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with that Creepshow special edition. So, I mean, if you've ever heard the Creepshow 2 commentary, it's great. It's really good, and they actually talk a lot about Creepshow 1. So for me, it was like, hey, I'll take any bone I can get. You know,
Right.
any knowledge about Creepshow 1 is awesome. You know?
Thanks for the ride, lady.
Oh, I love that. Or, oh god, that tongue that just like is hanging down the guy's neck at that point. You know.
Yeah, that's
It's
my favorite.
pretty gruesome.
Yeah, that's my favorite story of the second one.
Oh, the raft?
Yeah. No, the thanks for the ride.
Oh yeah, I mean, Old Chief Woodenhead, you know, is kind of hokey.
Yeah.
But what's really the scariest part of that movie is when the old lady and the old man die. When George Kennedy and his wife get blown away, I remember being in the theater. I begged my old man to take me. He's like, "All right, go rake the leaves, and I'll take you to go see fucking Creepshow 3, Creepshow 2." I'm like, "Oh, thanks, Dad." So we're watching it, and I remember being really disturbed by watching this poor, like, innocent family die. You know, and look, we watch enough horror films to know that if you smoke weed or you do any kind of drugs or you look at someone the wrong way or you have sex, you're setting yourself up for a kill. But then you see something like Friday the 13th Part 5 and the fat kid dies. What did he have to do? You know, he had no reason to die. But you know what though? That's one of the most disturbing kills in the entire series because he didn't deserve to die.
Right.
They broke the rules, and that was really rough. And seeing Creepshow 2 and seeing that moment when the old people died, you're going, oh, he didn't need to die. They were going to make cookies, you know.
Right.
And then all those guys get brutally killed, you know. So they deserved everything they got. So it became a weird kind of revenge movie, whereas it was supposed to be more of a scary movie. I mean, everyone's rooting for Old Chief Woodenhead at that point.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
but the makeup is so bad. Like the part where he puts the war paint on and his like middle finger bends in half when he does it. It's so gay. Come on, that was so bad.
Or something. It's like from the old Doctor Who.
But then you have something like the raft, and you're like, holy shit, that's awesome. I mean, sure, it looks like a big garbage bag, but that's the scariest garbage bag I've ever seen in a lake ever. You know? So, yeah, gotta love the Creepshow, too.
The fat kid from Friday the 13th Part 5, yeah, he went on to become a radio host on, like, for Fox.
No way!
Yeah.
Holy shit! That's like hearing like Chunk is like Chunk from the Goonies is one of the biggest entertainment lawyers in Hollywood. See, you know there is life after Hollywood, people. You know, so I hope to be the best garbage man possible in 20 years. I swear. They'll be like, yeah, he made movies someday, but man, he picks up my trash well.
Yeah.
But you'll be back there with Savini, you know, going through, looking at the comics.
Exactly, we'll be looking through the old DC comics. So Ralph Picardo and Tom Savini going, hey, look at this, you know, look how voodoo doll.
Somebody already ordered this one.
Larry Zerner recently was on was it like 1 vs. 100? He won like $300,000.
No way.
Yeah.
Shit, man, not too shabby.
Yeah, they didn't even mention that he was in a movie. They just called him a lawyer.
Are you kidding me? They didn't mention once?
No.
Like, oh yeah, weren't you in something? It's like, oh yeah, just keep moving on, move on. You know?
Yeah, I think maybe he did that so he didn't have to give it to charity, because he was like, if you're an actor, you probably have to give your money to charity.
Oh, good point. Hey, slick move. Always the lawyer, always thinking.
Oh yeah, the poor underprivileged lawyer, though.
Well, tell everybody to go and buy Wrong Turn 2. Anything else you want to tell your fans before we let you go? Because I think John's got to go to work.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, or someone's got to pee over there. I know I do. No, honestly, I just want to thank everybody. I mean, thank all the fans online, all the people that I've met, and all the people who've met, like all my cast, and everybody has been so supportive of the movie from, even from the beginning. Even when they announced it and said, "Oh shit, oh boy, I think my phone's gonna die." Yep, that's my cue, boys. I think I gotta go. So thanks, everybody.
All right.
Have a great night, guys. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks a lot. This was a lot of fun.
You got it, guys. Later.
Yep.
Hey, it's Joel David Moore, and you're listening to WithoutYourHead.com.